Global Production, Outsourcing, and Logistics. In this chapter, we're going to discuss why production and logistics decisions are of central importance to many multinational businesses. Also, we're going to learn how country differences, production technology, and product features all affect the choice of where to locate production activities. Are you aware of the Amazon Kindle? The Amazon Kindle is a series of e-readers designed and marketed by Amazon. Amazon Kindle devices enable users to browse, buy, download, and read ebooks, newspapers, magazines, and other digital media via wireless networking to the Kindle store. When online retailer Amazon.com invented its revolutionary ebook reader, the Kindle, the company had to decide where to have it made. Guiding the decision was an understanding that if the Kindle was going to be successful, it had to have the magic combination of low prices, high functionality, high reliability, and design elegance. Over time, this has only become more important as competitors have emerged. Sony, Barnes& and Noble, and most notably, Apple with its multipurpose iPad. Amazon's goal has been to aggressively reduce the price of the Kindle so that it both has an edge over competitors and it becomes feasible to have a couple lying around the house as a sort of digital library. However, some of the key components of the Kindle were very expensive. Some of them are made in the US, while others are outsourced to manufacturing enterprises in Asia. As trade barriers fall and global markets develop, many firms increasingly confront a set of interrelated issues. Like, where in the world should production activities be located? Should they be concentrated in a single country? Or should they be dispersed around the globe, matching the type of activity with country differences in factor costs, tariff barriers, political risk, and the like to minimize costs and maximize the value added? For Amazon to secure competitive advantage, it has to make the right choices. In this slide, you see the definition to the terms production and logistics. And in this chapter, we're going to answer the questions: how can production and logistics lower the cost of value creation? And how can production and logistics add value by better serving customer needs? Take note that production and logistics are closely linked because a firm's ability to perform its production activities efficiently depends on a timely supply of high quality material inputs for which logistics is responsible. So, how can costs be lowered? Dispersing production activities to various locations around the globe where each activity can be performed most efficiently can lower costs, and that's what companies do. They look for places around the world where they can establish their production activities so that they can take advantage of lower costs. Also, it can be cut by managing the global supply chain efficiently so as to better match supply and demand. Efficient supply chain management reduces the amount of inventory in the system and increases inventory turnover, which means the firm has to invest less working capital in inventory and is less likely to find excess inventory on hand that cannot be sold and has to be written off. So, how can quality be improved? Many organizations use various philosophies. One is total quality management, and the other is its descendant, which is Six Sigma program. The aim is to reduce defects, boost productivity, eliminate waste, and cut costs throughout the company. In the European Union, organizations must meet ISO 9000 standards before they can gain access to the EU marketplace. In short, only high quality products can enter that market. Also, by improving quality, we get to reduce cost. On this slide, we see the relationship between quality and cost. So, as was mentioned earlier, it's important for us to improve performance, reliability, or quality. And when we're capable of doing that, we're able now to increase productivity because time is not wasted producing poor quality products that cannot be sold, leading to a direct reduction in unit costs. This will also lead to lower rework and scrap costs associated with defective products. And it lowers warranty costs and reduces time associated with fixing defective products. So when these three are done or are accomplished or are achieved, we're able now to lower manufacturing and service costs. In the process, this will increase the profits of the organization. Earlier this year, Toyota said that it's going to recall 3.4 million cars because of potentially defective equipment meant to protect passengers during a crash. Also, Honda said that it would recall 2.7 million cars in Canada. Take note that recalls are expensive and it's going to cost the organization millions and millions of dollars. So the next question is, where should production be located? So an essential decision facing an international firm is where to locate its production activities to best minimize costs and improve product quality. So firms should locate production in places where production logistics can be locally responsive and production and logistics can respond quickly to shifts in customer demand. In deciding where production must be located, firms should consider country factors, technological factors, and product factors. As was mentioned before, political economy, culture, and relative factor costs differ from country to country. Now, other things being equal, a firm should locate its various manufacturing activities where the economic, political, and cultural conditions, including relative factor costs, are conducive to the performance of those activities. So, of course, the possible results of this would be the following. So, it can create a global web of activities, and there will be global concentrations of activities at certain locations. But this is the reality. Other things are not equal. Differences in relative factor costs, political economy, culture, and location externalities are important, but other factors also loom large. The next one is technological factors. The type of technology a firm uses to perform specific manufacturing activities can be pivotal in location decisions. For instance, because of technological constraints, in some cases, it is necessary to perform certain manufacturing activities in only one location and serve the world market from there. But in other cases, the technology may make it feasible to perform an activity in multiple locations. So firms should consider the following. First, the level of fixed costs. In some cases, the fixed costs of setting up a production plant are so high that a firm must serve the world market from a single location or from a very few locations. On the other hand, a relatively low level of fixed costs can make it economical to perform a particular activity in several locations at once. and this will allow the organization to better accommodate demands for local responsiveness. Many firms disperse their manufacturing plants to different locations as a real hedge or protection against potentially adverse moves in currencies. Another factor to consider is minimum efficient scale. The concept of economies of scale tell us that as plant output expands, unit costs decrease. The reason include the greater utilization of capital equipment and the productivity gains that come with specialization of employees within the plant. However, beyond a certain level of output, few additional scale economies are available. The level of output at which most plant level scale economies are exhausted is referred to as the minimum efficient scale of output. This is the scale of output a plant must operate to realize all major plant level scale economies. So, what are the implications of these concepts? The larger the minimum efficient scale of a plant relative to total global demand, the greater the argument for centralizing production in a single location or a limited number of locations. Alternatively, when the minimum efficient scale of production is low relative to global demand, it may be economical to manufacture a product at several locations. Another thing that must be considered would be the flexibility of the technology. So, of course, at the very core of the concept of economies of scale is the idea that the best way to achieve high efficiency and hence low unit costs is through the mass production of a standardized output. The trade-off implicit in this idea is between unit costs and product variety. Producing greater product variety from a factory implies shorter production runs, which in turn implies an inability to realize economies of scale. That is, wide product variety makes it difficult for a company to increase its production efficiency and thus reduce its unit costs. Based on this logic, the way to increase efficiency and drive down unit cost is to limit product variety and produce a standardized product in large volumes. However, the view of production efficiency has been challenged by the rise of flexible manufacturing technologies. So, the term flexible manufacturing technology or lean production covers a range of manufacturing technologies designed to reduce setup times, increase the utilization of individual machines, and improve quality control at all stages. Flexible manufacturing technologies allow the company to produce a wider variety of end products at a unit cost that one time could be achieved only through the mass production of a standardized output. The term mass customization has been coined to describe the ability of companies to use flexible manufacturing technology to reconcile two goals that were once thought to be incompatible, that is, low cost and product customization. Flexible manufacturing technologies vary in their sophistication and complexity. Another common flexible manufacturing technology is known as flexible machine cells. Improved capacity utilization and reductions in work in progress and in waste are major efficiency benefits of flexible machine cells. Improved capacity utilization arises from the reduction in setup times and from the computer-controlled coordination of production flow between machines, which eliminate bottlenecks. Ford Motor Company has introduced flexible manufacturing technologies into its automotive plants around the world. These new technologies allow Ford to produce multiple models from the same line, which means they can maximize the use of their machines and facilities, and also to switch production from one model to another much more quickly than in the past. So, what then should a firm do? Production should be concentrated in a few locations when, number one, fixed costs are substantial. Second, the minimum efficient scale of production is high, and when flexible manufacturing technologies are available. On the other hand, production in multiple locations makes sense when, first, both fixed costs and the minimum efficient scale of production are relatively low, and appropriate flexible manufacturing technologies are not available. Therefore, the condition of the company must be clear to the manager so that they can make good decisions regarding locating their business, whether in a concentrated few location or in multiple locations. Next, why are product factors important to location decisions? Two product features affect location decisions. First is the product's value to weight ratio because of its influence on transportation costs. So many products like electronic components and pharmaceuticals have high value to weight ratios. They are expensive and they do not weigh very much. Thus, even if they are shipped halfway around the world, their transportation costs account for a very small percentage of total costs. Given this, other things being equal, there is great pressure to produce these products in the optimal location and to serve the world market from there. So companies look for the country where they can produce the product at the lowest possible cost. Anyway, shipping or transporting them wouldn't be very expensive. The opposite holds for products with low value to weight ratios. So for example, some chemicals and petroleum products have low value to weight ratios. They are relatively inexpensive products that actually weigh a lot. Accordingly, when they are shipped long distances, transportation costs account for a large percentage of total costs. Therefore, other things being equal, there is a great pressure to make these products in multiple locations closer to major markets to reduce transportation costs. Another product feature that can influence location decisions is whether the product serves universal needs. So universal needs are the same all over the world. So for example, calculators, computers, or video game consoles, the need for local responsiveness falls in this case, and concentrating manufacturing in a central location actually makes sense. So this slide shows us the appropriate strategic choice that a company can make depending on certain factors. So what is the strategic role of foreign factories? Whatever the reason behind establishing a foreign production facility, the strategic role of foreign sites can evolve over time. Initially, many foreign sites are established where labor costs are low. So, factories established to take advantage of low-cost labor can evolve into facilities with advanced design capabilities. So, over time, the strategic role of some of these factories has expanded. They have become important centers for the design and final assembly of products for the global marketplace. So, there is an upward migration in the strategic role of foreign production sites because many foreign sites upgrade their own capabilities. Now, this improvement comes from two sources. The first one is the pressure from the center to improve a site's cost structure and customize a product to the demands of consumers in a particular nation. And this can start a chain of events that ultimately leads to development of additional capabilities at that factory. Another source of improvement in the capabilities of a foreign site can be the increasing abundance of advanced factors of production in the nation in which the factory is located. Because of all these developments, many international businesses are moving away from a system in which their foreign facilities were simply viewed as nothing more than low-cost production facilities and moving now towards one where they are viewed as globally dispersed centers of excellence. In this new model, foreign sites may take the lead role for the design and manufacture of products to serve important national or regional markets or even the global market. The development of such dispersed centers of excellence is consistent with the concept of transnational strategy, which was earlier discussed. A major aspect of a transnational strategy is a belief in global learning. So, this is the idea that valuable knowledge does not reside just in a firm's domestic operations. It may also be found in its foreign subsidiaries. Foreign factories that upgrade their capabilities over time are creating valuable knowledge that might benefit the whole corporation. We now go to another important question. So, should a firm outsource production? Should a firm make or buy the component parts to go into its final product? Now, make or buy decisions are important to firms' manufacturing strategies. Before, most outsourcing decisions have involved the manufacture of physical products. Most manufacturing companies have done their own final assembly but have had to decide whether to vertically integrate and manufacture their own component parts or outsource the production of such parts, purchasing them from independent suppliers. Such make or buy decisions are an important aspect of the strategy of many companies. In the automobile industry, for instance, the typical car contains more than 10,000 components. So automobile firms constantly face make or buy decisions. In the case of Toyota, they produce less than 30% of the value of cars that roll off its assembly lines. The remaining 70%, mainly accounted for by component parts and complex subassemblies, comes from independent suppliers. The same is true in the athletic shoe industry. Nike and Reebok do not have any involvement in manufacturing. All production has been outsourced, primarily to manufacturers based in low-wage countries. At the end of the day, we have to make a decision. Whether to make or buy depends on the company's capabilities. Also, it depends on the company's goals. Ultimately, we're going to choose whatever is best for the organization. Both make or buy decisions have its own advantages. So the first group here are the advantages of the make decision, and the second group are the advantages of the buy decision. Forging strategic alliances with suppliers can help us reap the most out of a vertical integration. Strategic alliances build trust between the firm and its suppliers. Trust is built when a firm makes a credible commitment to continue purchasing from a supplier on reasonable terms. However, these commitments may actually limit strategic flexibility for both the organizations. Also, it may risk giving away key technological know-how to a supplier. So while strategic alliances with suppliers make sense, it may also have its own trade-offs. Logistics encompasses the activities necessary to get materials from suppliers to a manufacturing facility through the manufacturing process and out through a distribution system to the end user. In the international business, the logistics function manages the global supply chain. Again, the goal here is to manage a global supply chain at the lowest possible cost and in a way that best serves customers' needs. Pioneered by Japanese firms, just-in-time inventory systems now play a major role in most manufacturing firms. Just-in-time, or JIT, is an inventory management system that aims to make production super efficient. Under this, raw materials and labor are planned to arrive as and when they are needed in the production. Some of the advantages of the just-in-time systems include less space required for stock, able to respond quickly to changes in demand, closer relationship with suppliers, and capital can be used for other priorities as opposed to being tied up in stocks. But it also has disadvantages, and this would include production may be stopped if supplies are delayed, sales may be lost if not meeting customer demands, and increased ordering and administrative costs. Web-based information systems also play a crucial role in modern materials management. By tracking component parts as they make their way across the globe toward an assembly plant, information systems enable a firm to optimize its production scheduling according to when components are expected to arrive. By locating component parts in the supply chain precisely, good information systems allow the organization to properly strategize when it comes now to their production. Companies now typically use what we call EDI or electronic data interchange via the internet to coordinate the flow of materials into manufacturing, through manufacturing, and out to customers. EDI is the intercompany communication of business documents in a standard format. The simple definition of EDI is a standard electronic format that replaces paper-based documents like purchase orders or invoices. By automating paper-based transactions, organizations can save time and eliminate errors caused by manual processing that are costly to fix. In today's hyper-competitive markets, firms have to reduce costs and to achieve high product quality with quick response to global market turbulence simultaneously.